I didn't want to go out there and make another video about the Vancouver Canucks heading into their game against the Seattle Kraken, but because we recognize that this team might not actually be that great, we gotta go out there and take the dubs while we can. As earlier this afternoon, the Vancouver Canucks and Patrik Allvin have announced that the Canucks have agreed to terms with forward Linus Karlsson on a 2-year contract extension with a $2.25 million AAV. Now, I am not going to lie. When I saw this news and I saw the Twitter post and the money amount, I was like, I don't really know if this is actually that great for the Canucks, but I will say, take away the team tank, the rebuild, the Francesco, the Allvin part about it, just take away all the Vancouver Canucks related elements to this story and just focus on the player. Hey, this is a pretty good accomplishment for a guy in Linus Karlsson, whom I'm going to say has been one of the better Canucks players the past few weeks. And if there's anybody who has worked his tail end off to get to the point that he is at in his career where he can get a $2.25 million AAV 2-year deal, it is Linus Karlsson. The guy has genuinely been one of the best Canucks in terms of offensive productivity as of late, in terms of offensive creativity, creation, the skills. Sure, he might not be the fastest, but he does pretty good things when he has the puck on his stick, and he has been setting guys up as well. Let's go out there and read the press release on the Vancouver Canucks website. Canucks agree to terms with a Linus Karlsson 2-year contract extension. Let's go out there and read. GM Patrik Allvin announced today the club has agreed to terms with Karlsson. Linus has taken a number of big steps since joining our organization, said Allvin. He has worked hard on his game, and we have been impressed with his development both on and off the ice. A leader last year for our Calder Cup championship team in Abbotsford, Linus used that momentum and experience to solidify a position this year in Vancouver. We look forward to helping him grow and continue to move forward. Karlsson, 26, has skated in 36 games with Vancouver this season, registering 16 points and 24 penalty minutes. His 50 hits are 4th amongst Canucks forwards, and he has set new career highs in goals, assists, points, and games played this season, surpassing each of his totals from 24-25. The 6'1", 178-pound forward has skated in 63 career games, all with Vancouver, posting 22 points and 30 penalty minutes, as well as 2 Stanley Cup playoff games, recording 2 penalty minutes. He also appeared in 164 career AHL games, all with Abbotsford, registering 148 points. He played in 36 career Calder Cup playoff games for Abbey, scoring 30 points in that span. He also led the AHL in playoff goals and points en route to capturing the Calder Cup in 2024-2025. Prior to his time in North America, the Eskio, Sweden native spent the 21-22 season with Skellefteå AIK of the Swedish Hockey League, posting 46 points in 52 games and was named the SHL's Rookie of the Year. He was originally selected by the San Jose Sharks in the 3rd round, 87th overall in the 2018 NHL Draft. So that is a lot of cut and paste information when it comes to Linus Karlsson and the profile that he provides. The question, though, that I have, not for Karlsson, but for the Vancouver Canucks, more so lies in the fact that he is 26 years old. This is a guy who has worked his way up to becoming an NHL player, and it took a while. He was not ever in this spot right away. If you take a look at it, drafted in 2018, and then he had spent the next, 2-3 seasons in Sweden before heading over to the AHL and getting a small sample with the Vancouver Canucks in 23-24, even playing in the playoffs there too. Last year he only had 6 points in 23 games, but was over a point per game in Abbey. This year he's got 16 points in 36 games, whilst providing 6 points in his last 10 games and 5 points in his last 5. Make no mistake about it, Linus Karlsson has been effective. But you can make the argument that says, hey, this is a 26-year-old guy, he is just becoming a full-time NHL player now, and he is producing some of the highest numbers he has had in the NHL to date. What is the upward ceiling for this guy? Yes, he's got 6 points in his last 5 games. Is there room to expand on that? Is this a player that can show off more than that? Or is this an opportunity where you can look at the numbers, you can look at the profile, you can say, hey, this guy's finally putting it together, and his contract expires, let's trade him? Is there an opportunity for Vancouver to look at Linus Karlsson as a trade chip? That's a conversation that we actually had a few days ago, and I proposed the question to y'all on YouTube here because I did see a lot of folks on social media bringing up that idea, and quite frankly, I do think it's a reasonable take to have. Linus Karlsson is just becoming a full-time NHL player now. You can say he has a high ceiling because of what he had done in Sweden and in the American League, but at 26, how high is that ceiling going to take him into the NHL and beyond? Okay, not the and beyond part. It's just the NHL. There is no higher league than the National Hockey League. This is why I say, totally amazing, good for Linus Karlsson to get the contract. It's fantastic to see a guy work his way up and at 26 years old finally get that NHL money. But I just question if the Vancouver Canucks were the right team to allow him to do that. There is a world where Linus Karlsson gets shipped off to a Stanley Cup contender, he makes less money playing in the bottom 6 of a Cup finalist team or whatever, and maybe he wins a championship, who really knows? But there is also a world in Vancouver where Linus Karlsson is with this team, he's in a top 6 role because the Canucks are injured to all heck, Arshdeep Bains got called up again today, and they have nobody else available to play. And then maybe he boosts his value that way because he's actually been starting to score points. At the end of the day, if Vancouver were to look at Linus Karlsson and this 2-year extension that he got as a window for him to bolster up his value, then maybe there is an opportunity that by the time 27, 28 comes, when Linus Karlsson is in that age range, maybe then his value is a lot higher, and maybe then they can make a trade to send this guy to a Cup contender and get more in return. Who really knows? The reason I'm bringing this up is because I just don't see Linus Karlsson as a long-term solution for the Vancouver Canucks. You want to talk about them rebuilding, retooling in a hybrid form, whatever. Once Braden Coots, Tom Willander, and Jonathan Lekkerimäki are top Vancouver Canucks roster players, you're looking at a Connor Garland that's going to be 32, 33, 34 years old. Brock Besser is going to be in that age range too. Linus Karlsson might be 29. That's where I start to wonder where exactly this contract and Linus Karlsson's body fits into the Vancouver Canucks situation and team building long term. It's just because he's 26. Really, I think that's the reason why I'm having a little bit of hesitation fully buying into the contract. But again, it's good for him. Fantastic for him to be able to get this money. And of course, if you're following the trade tree upwards, Linus Karlsson continues a pretty long stretch of Alex Burrows being on the Vancouver Canucks because Burrows was traded for Dahlin, Jonathan Dahlin was traded back to San Jose for Linus Karlsson, and now he's here, he's doing some work, and at 26 years old, he has signed his very first National Hockey League contract, one way, too, so $2.25 million a year is the AAV 2-year contract as well. We'll see what this means for Linus Karlsson heading into the future. Let me know in the comment section all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.